Hello, Outlookers! How are you today? I hope all is well with you. And as for me, God just delivered me from the big struggle that I've had for the past weeks, no? And I praise and thank Him for answering my prayers. No, you know, Outlookers, when we have struggles, we have crises, we have certain crossroads in life, all we need to do is call upon the Lord and He will really help us. And there are times when we are at a crossroad where we already have a decision where to go, no? We already have a choice because we like it, no? We love it, but if it is not the Lord's will, then He will help us out of it. But the usual thing that happens is we do not call upon the Lord to help us out of our preferred choice. What we do is we call upon the Lord to allow us to have that choice, which is He wouldn't do that because He knows that it will bring us to disaster. So I praise and thank the Lord that I praise and thank Him that He is taking care of me, and He will be taking care of you if you just allow Him, no? So as I was saying, the letter of Paul, or Paul heard that the people of Corinth, the believers of Corinth, no, those who were already living a life in Jesus Christ, those who already believed in Jesus Christ, were having struggles, no? So he wrote this letter to remind them of the failure of the Israelites who were their mga ninuno nila, no? So Paul said that you have to take lessons from what happened to the Israelites, no? If you have been reading the Old Testament, you will know that when Moses was asked by God to bring out the Israelites from Egypt where they were enslaved and bring them to Canaan, the promised land, you will notice that only 2 people were able to enter the promised land, and these were Joshua and Caleb. Even Moses was not able to enter the promised land, and all the rest of the Israelites were scattered in the desert. Why? Because they have been so disobedient to God. No, they catered to their flesh. No, so they were into idolatry even. No, so Paul was trying to remind them that actually these Israelites, they fed on the same spiritual food. No, they were gimatuto sila ni Moses dito sa desert. They were taken care of by Moses and later on by Joshua in the wilderness, no? So there was actually no reason for them to be wayward, but they were, no? Just like us, no? So ang nangyari wala talagang na save sa what's this, sa Israelites, no? Walang what I mean when I say walang na save is walang nakapasok sa promised land, no? So wait, I will take a turn here because I took the wrong road again. I took the wrong road again because I was avoiding a traffic over there at the crossing. I'm supposed to go to my sister's house, but I am going to Manga already. Okay, so that's it, no? Going back, Paul wanted to remind the Corinthians that we should take lessons from what happened to the what's this? From what happened to the Israelites, no? So it's really it was really a tough life for the Corinthians. They were exposed to so much temptations, no? So they were exposed to so much temptations, struggles, and many of them, most if not all of them, failed, no, or fell into sin, no? And the major sin that they committed was idolatry. So instead of focusing on God, they focused on themselves. When people commit idolatry, it's not just worshiping images. It is catering to your personal satisfaction or personal needs other than or over and above what God requires of us. So God was no longer a priority for them. So they started to be idolatrous, worship other gods, and they started into sexual immorality. So as part of the letter of Paul to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13, Paul reminds the Israelites or the Corinthian people that hey, no temptation has overcome man except those that are common to everyone. So walang temptation daw na nangyari sa iyo na ikaw lang ang nakapag-experience nito. What you are experiencing are also experienced by the other believers. So no temptation has overcome us that is not common to man. And you will not be allowed by God to be tempted beyond your capability to resist temptation. And then if you will be giving into temptation, God will make a way out of it. Will give you a way out of it. So tingnan nyo how gracious God is. He is assuring us, He is reminding us that He is reminding us actually that yung mga temptations na we are undergoing are not special ones made for us, but every believer undergoes the same temptation or experiences the same temptation. And Paul also reminded that God will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can handle. Actually, mga outlookers, temptation per se is not a sin. But when you allow or when you succumb to temptation, that becomes a sin. So I remember my spiritual discipler telling me that temptation is just like a bird hovering over your head. So, well, for as long as you do not allow the bird to nest on your head, then it's just okay. But when you allow the bird to nest on your head, or you allow temptation, or you succumb to temptation, that's the time that it is no longer okay. So Paul reminded the people of Corinth, the believers of Corinth, that God will not give us a temptation which is beyond what we can handle. And if hindi natin makayanan, it is God who will give us a way out of it. So ano ang mga way out ni Lord? Nako, alam nyo, bibigyan tayo. If it is a mountain, the temptation is a mountain, He will give us a small passage which is difficult, to that will be His way out. That will be God's way out for us to get out of that temptation. So it is still for us to decide whether we will take the way out given by God or not. Alam nyo, mas easy kasi kung mag-give in ka na lang sa temptation mas easy. It's the world's way. Remember the sources of temptation? The world. Lahat ng mga masasarap sa world. And then another source of temptation is Satan himself. The evil one himself. And the third one is the flesh. What are the desires of the flesh ba? Pagkain, sex, these basic needs na kahit hindi justifiable or hindi hindi na within the bounds of marriage or within the bounds of what is lawful, yan, you will be tempted to get into it. And as we watch the world today, there are a lot of soul suffering with this kind of sin, no? So si Paul ay nagre-remind sa mga Corinthians na you have to remember your forefathers, the Israelites, their bodies were strewn here and there in the desert. Why? Because they were not able to overcome temptation. They gave in, they succumbed, they let the bird of temptation nest on their head, no? So the way out that God will give us is mahirap, no? And difficult ang way, but that's God's way. Masakit, no? It's painful, no? Kasi it's not what you want, because you are thinking about gratifying the desires of your flesh, no? So it's not what you want, no? When you pray to the Lord about it, iba ang pinipray natin. Lord, please, i-allow mo na akong gumawa nito, no? No? So at the height of the strongest degree of temptation, we say, Lord, please allow me to do this just this once, and after one time another one, and after that we start to justify our sin, telling the Lord that, Lord, I have the right to have this, to do this, no? So ang way out ni Lord ay mahirap talaga, masakit, no, mga outlookers, but that is, at alam nyo, hindi rin natin i-choose ito. Kung tayo lang, ay hindi natin pagpipiliin yan, but the grace of God will allow us, or will push us to decide correctly or rightly, or honorably, for the glory of His name, for the sake of His name, no? He will discipline us if need be, because He wants us to straighten out, because the Lord wants us to be special, because we are elect. We are separate, no? We are separate from the world, no? So outlookers, once again, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13, no? No temptation has overcome man except, or has overcome us, except that which is common to men, no? And and the Lord will not allow us to have temptations which are beyond our capacity to handle. And if we get tempted, no, this is very special. If we get tempted, He gives us a way out. He gives us a way out of the quagmire of the tempting situation. So thanks be to God for this verse. Thanks be to God for His word. Thanks be to God for His love for us, outlookers. So if you are in the middle of a struggle, do not give in. Call upon the Lord. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, especially if it is a struggle between holiness and the flesh. It's not easy, no? It's very, very difficult. And the way of the Lord, the way that He provides, is very painful. But once that you pass through, you decide to take the way that God has provided you. Oh my goodness. It is a blissful victory, outlookers, no? So once again, let me remind you, the Lord is monitoring us. The Lord wants us to live our lives at the palm of His hand. Yung nakikita tayo ni Lord, no? So let us love Him more, let us call upon Him more, let us worship Him more, because He loves us over and above everything, no? The fact that He gave His one and only Son to die on the cross for us, that is not a simple thing, no? No, that's a great and blessed and holy thing a good God can do. No? So, outlookers, let's continue to seek the Lord with all our hearts, to walk in His ways. When we say, let us walk in His ways, it means we obey. Moment by moment, obedience natin. No? If we have a situation, we obey, and then we experience victory. And that is what we call moment by moment victory. No? So, outlookers, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been useful to me as it has been useful to you as it has been useful to me. So God bless us all. I love you, but God loves you more. He is blessing you every day. Thanks, and till next video.